with um, some background first because I'm sure some of you don't know me. So, my name is Grace. I'm a part of the Birmingham community. The people I grew up with and people in the Birmingham community are probably more familiar with Unye. That is my Korean name, Unye. Um, I'm 18 years old and I am the oldest of four girls. And I'm currently on a gap year and I work full time in a daycare nursery. Yay. So, the title of my talk is Flipping the Perspective, Hindsight as a Tool, and Perseverance as My Fuel. Very rhymey. I would first like to just say that everyone is different and we all process and deal with situations differently. And I think for me, it's still a work in progress and I'm still learning things um, as time goes by. So I turned 18 on the 26th of May last year. And unfortunately, literally a week after, on the 3rd of June, my mom had a stroke. And this was actually during my A-level exam season. So that was very stressful. And one thing I did then, and it was something I hadn't realized I was doing, was I was flipping my perspective on my situation and then persevering and also reminding myself of my achievements. So, in this sense, I just told myself, okay, we're at the A levels now. And a quick side note, physics was a subject that I really struggled with, and I had worked so hard to get to a point where I was really confident with it, and I felt that I was ready for my exams. So I just told myself, listen, you've worked really hard to get here, and I just have to give it my all, uh, despite the situation. So I don't know, that just really got me through it. I just told myself, okay, we're going to focus on this first, and then we'll move on to what was happening with my mom. And I did it somehow. I was able to balance revising, visiting my mom in hospital, and generally running the house. And once the exam season was over, I was like, wow. um, I couldn't believe that I had gotten through that. I couldn't believe that I had persevered through that. And one thing that definitely got me through it was prayer and just this sense of hope that things were going to get better and that it would somehow all turn out okay. Uh, yeah, so that really lit something in me, being able to just persevere through that situation. And it really acted as a fuel between the dates of when I ended my exam and results day. I was left in this very weird limbo. At that time, I had meticulously planned out my life. Uh, I knew I was going to do my exams, then I was going to have my big summer, and then I was going to go off to uni. Obviously, that wasn't going to, well, it could have happened, but it didn't seem like things were going to be easy if I was going to get there, if I was going to finally be able to go to uni. And that was really, I can't find a better word, it was really jarring. Like, I had planned everything and everything seemed so straightforward, and now it wasn't. So there were a couple things that I needed to realize here. Number one, I realized that some things are just out of control, but I had done the best on my side. I had revised for my exams. I had managed to find my mom when she had her stroke in a good time period, and then we got her to hospital, and she was now receiving care. Number two was I realized I had to be confident in what I had done and I couldn't worry about things that hadn't happened yet. So I was confident that I had given it my best in my exams, and I was confident that my mom was in a hospital where she was now receiving care, and I just couldn't worry about things that happened yet. I found myself with a lot of what ifs, and this links into the third thing that I realized was fear would only fuel my anxiety. So I had to do something else because I realized, okay, the date where I can really finally decide what's going to happen next in my future was results day. So I had decided to play with the cards I had been dealt with in a sense. So my mom's friends and my dad were helpful. I was able to enjoy my summer despite my situation. I got closer to a bunch of other BCs. There was Kadri, who lives in Sheffield, but she goes to university in Stoke-on-Trent. She was great. It was so much fun hanging out with her during the summer. I was actually able to go to Paris with Sophia, another BC in our community, actually. So we went there for a couple of days. Um, I was also able to enjoy the summer with my sisters. I got closer to them because of what had happened in our family, especially myself and Hope. I think me and my mom were like super besties, and sometimes I would leave out Hope, my little sister. So I got really close to her, and yeah, I learned a lot of things. I learned how to cook. I'm a really good cook now. We now know our local park by the back of our hand because we went there a lot, and we were also able to just watch like a lot of films that were on my bucket list, some classic films. Um, then results day came, and I got really lucky. I got into choice uni. I actually got pretty good grades. Like, I actually changed from doing children's nursing to chemistry because of my grades and because I wanted to do chemistry at degree. So now I could finally make some decisions. I decided that I wanted to stay home. I wanted to take care of my sisters. I wanted to take care of my mom. Things were still in the wind. We didn't know what would happen next. So with my mom, she actually ended up moving hospitals, and previously she was about 20 minutes away-ish by driving, and now she was over an hour away and having to travel further, and also the layer of not going to university, it was just a lot, and it was something that really had me down. I felt very conflicted, overwhelmed, and just truly disheartened. And looking in hindsight, I really put university on a pedestal, which, unpopular opinion, you don't have to go to university, um, not all the time, to get certain jobs. The current job that I'm actually doing allows me to get a qualification and like a title. Like I could continue in doing this, working in a daycare nursery. Um, so that was one thing. Another thing that I had to realize was I'm not behind. I am literally 18 years old. Um, I still have lots of life to live, and like 1 year out of education isn't going to put me back like really bad. Another thing I realized was, and I think this was the most important thing because it then allowed me to work through some stuff, was I was holding onto an alternative reality where things were different. I was holding on to a big what if. What if my mom hadn't gotten sick, and it was actually quite crippling. It didn't allow me to enjoy my job. I love my job now. I work with children. It's truly such a unique experience. Um, yeah, I felt quite murky and just bitter. And October to like December time was just really hard. But once I realized that I was holding onto this alternative reality, I realized it was something that I needed to let go and just in general reflect on. Uh, what really allowed me to start finding some gratitude was Christmas time, like the time coming up to Christmas. I had decided that I wanted to give my sisters a great Christmas. I thought, wow, we've been through a lot, and I actually have some money now, so I want to treat them. And when I was buying them their Christmas presents, I was getting so excited because I was like wow, they're gonna get like stuff that they want, and I can actually afford it. And then I realized, and not in a weird way, that if my mom hadn't have gotten sick, I would not have been able to actually experience these things. I wouldn't have gotten closer to a lot of my BT friends. I would have never went to Paris. I had never traveled before. Well, I had traveled before, but this was the first time that I was actually remembering it. So I wouldn't have been able to go to Paris. Um, in general, I was able to get a lot of nice things, and I wouldn't have been able to get that if I didn't have my job. My job also allowed me to take away some things that I wanted to implement in the future as a mother to my children, the way that I wanted to raise them, and like just different techniques to helping children learn. So that was a really big realization for me. It was on the flip side, I actually like got quite a lot out of it. And then I was on Companion of Faith. That was a workshop for 18 plus year olds. That was in beginning of February. And it really just allowed me to be more grateful and really reflect on my situation and fuel up my little fuel tank because I was quite proud of how I persevered through that. So here are just a couple situations and how I flipped them. So originally, when my mom was in hospital, Russell's Hall Hospital, we thought that she would be coming out. I cannot remember the date, but we then found out that she had to stay there longer. Well, I told myself, okay, she just gets more time for care and more time to get better. Then my family found out that she was moving to the other hospital that was on the other side of town. And I told myself, okay, well, this is the first step in her journey to recovery. And now she's not just at an ordinary hospital, she's at a hospital where you actually receive rehabilitation. Uh, Another situation I flipped was not being able to go to uni. Well, now I was able to work with kids, finally get that experience with children. I also love my job. The initial discharge date when she moved to the other hospital on the other side of town was moved from September to October. So I just told myself, okay, well, now she gets more time with these specialists. She has more time for recovery. The longer that she's there, the better that she gets. Then in October, we found out that she wouldn't be coming out of hospital, but she was moving to now another one. She moved to Circle Rehabilitation on the Bristol Road for the Birmingham people, because obviously, if you don't live in Birmingham, you don't know where that is. Sorry, but she moved to a different hospital. That one was half private, half NHS. She received really great care from there. She actually learnt how to walk again because of that hospital. So I was really grateful for that. And then just recently, her discharge date was moved from the beginning of January to March, and that allowed her to get some more speech therapy and eventually come out. She is out now. Obviously, there is still a long journey with her recovery, but just being able to flip those situations uh, really improved my mental health and helped me not to be so like negative in a sense. And then looking in hindsight, I have already mentioned some things, but I was given the opportunity to go to Paris, get closer with a bunch of BCs. Me and my sisters got closer. I was able to go onto the winter workshop. I paid for that. I was able to go there as well. I was able to go to companions of faith. In general, I have met some incredible people. And I had previously said that I changed my degree from children's nursing to chemistry. It is now children's nursing again. I realized that the healthcare sector was just something that I could really see myself in, helping people and just being a part of people's lives in that way just seemed very rewarding and fulfilling. And I just really realized that that is what I want to do. So I am now doing children's nursing. I promise I'm not going to change my degree again. Uh, so then some final conclusions are flipping your perspective and situations can seriously improve your mental health. I think especially when I was like quite low and felt quite bad, being able to just look in hindsight and just realize and see how I persevered through those things, it got me out of my state. Another thing is it is important to reach out to someone. Please reach out to your friends. They are more than happy to listen to you and to help you. Another thing is it's okay to feel bitter, angry, and confused, but it is so, so, so important to not sit in that pool of negative emotions. You have to work through it. Otherwise, you will drown yourself in those negative pool of emotions, and that is not good. And then another important thing to realize is it will get better. And that is something that I was continuing to repeat to myself because my current situation is still not over. There are still some things that I am dealing with, but I just keep reminding myself that it will get better. It has already gotten better. My mom is doing quite well. So, yeah, that is my talk. Thank you.